10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Ninja vanish.
Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. How's everybody doing today? Welcome to the wonderful world of weekends and the Week in Geek podcast. Woo! No one?
Woo!
There we go. See?
Ninja vanish.
Ninja vanish.
Yippee-ki-yay, the mother buckets.
Yeah. I know I'm going to end up getting shit for that one day, but whatever. And there's Dookie Boy.
Yo, baby.
Wondering if you were going to show up since it was your idea to do this.
I'm here, baby.
But obviously, everybody can tell by the title of the video, we're going to be talking about top 10 guilty pleasure movies. Before we get into that, there's not really a whole lot else to talk about geek-wise. There wasn't a lot going on. This week, the biggest thing that I saw geek-related this week was the new Daredevil Born Again trailer, which was freaking awesome.
Yeah, it was.
It looked really damn good.
And blood.
Oh,
blood
yeah.
and breaking bones and stuff like what?
It looked solid rated R. So I was very happy about that because, of course, they reshot the whole series. Like, literally the whole series. They shot it, and then it was done by the writers who had done She-Hulk, and then they did some test screenings, and Marvel stepped in and was like, no, no way in hell. They brought in new writers, rewrote the whole show, and refilmed everything all over again. So it was a completely redone show, completely different story. Originally, what's her face? I can't remember her name. The redhead wasn't even going to be in it. She was going to have died. Froggy wasn't going to be in it.
Okay.
Punisher wasn't going to be in it. Bullseye wasn't going to be in it. It was going to be a completely different story. And they rewrote the whole damn thing, and the trailer looked phenomenal. So, yeah, I mean, what it comes out in? Is it next month or is it in March? March, I can't remember.
March, I think. Yeah.
Well, I'm very much looking forward to it because it looks good. Now,
March the 4th.
That being said, there are many things that Marvel has put out good trailers to that didn't turn out to be so good. So I'm not going to hold them to it, but
Oh no, I'm gonna hold him to it. I'm going to hold him to this.
Well, it's not that I'm going to hold. I'm not going to expect anything. Like, if it turns out to be good, awesome. If it doesn't, well, then it doesn't.
It better be fucking good, or I'm gonna drag Disney through the mud. It better be.
Well, hopefully it is. I hope it is. I want it to be good. I loved the Netflix show, and the trailer looks good, and so.
Now, is what's the name supposed to be the Punisher?
Yeah,
it's going to be the Punisher. So he's
he's the Punisher.
Okay. Was it John Bernthal? Was his name? That's the name. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
Trailer looked good. Makes me very happy. Hopefully the show will actually be good. But that's really all there is to say about that, right? Because until it comes out, we don't know for sure. It could come out being a steaming pile of shit. I have no idea. But regardless, good trailer. Good for y'all, Marvel. Hopefully it lives up to the trailer. Anything else before we get into our top 10s?
TikTok's getting banned.
Oh yeah, TikTok's getting banned tomorrow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, I heard. They've been talking about that for a year. Well, I mean, they've talked about banning TikTok for years. since Trump was president last time, and then they've been talking about that the when did the law actually get passed? Sometime early in 2024, wasn't it? I think it was. And then the Supreme Court's like, yeah, we ain't stopping it. We're not going to stop the ban. So it looks like as of midnight tonight, it's going to be banned as of right now. Which is
but I've been loving the memes of all the out of work TikTokers.
I saw the meme. There was this one meme. I don't know who posted it. There's one meme. It was a clip of Mad TV, and it was Stuart from Mad TV.
Yeah.
Look what I can do! Look what I can do!
I saw that. I love that one.
And it at the top it says TikTokers going to their first job interview after TikTok shuts down, and it's just Stuart going, "Look what I can do! Look what I can do! Look what I can do!"
Yeah, if you make TikTok your job, you definitely have got problems.
I don't know. They were making quite a bit of money on there.
They were, but you can't just depend on that for income. You have to have an actual job.
Dude, you can't depend on any social media for income.
No, and plus too, with this been coming on for years, they should have been preparing, but
Yeah.
they didn't.
Unless you're super milk toast, then maybe you can get away with it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know, man. 15 years on YouTube, I've learned you cannot count on any of it. So
Nope.
don't do it. Never, ever, ever count on that.
No.
Like, enjoy it while it lasts, but understand it ain't gonna last forever.
Remember that during the apocalypse, and like when they went after the toy
Oh, yeah.
channel, saying you can't monetize toy channels, and all these toy guys, they were panicking.
Oh yeah, well, because they had gone after other channels of which I was involved in about a year and a half before that. They went after them first, then they started going after they went after airsoft channels, then they went after toy channels. They just started rolling through different communities on YouTube. So it is what it is, I guess. Don't ever rely on any sort of social media to be your sole income, because it can go away like that, man. These companies, they can get bought out, they can change their rules, there's 100 things that can happen at any given time that can completely change everything, and you're screwed. So
And you could just say one wrong thing and you'll destroy your career too on that.
oh yeah.
That was like this used to be like I don't even know if he's still around anymore. A big Transformers channel back in the day called Octobotamus, and he basically got destroyed. He had employees and everything. Then like all of a sudden, everybody hated him. I can't even remember what for. I think he's one of the ones too that sided with Hasbro that go against custom. When Hasbro back in the day went after customizers selling their customs and stuff on eBay, and he sided with them. And other stuff he's did, and people just like, fuck you, we're not going to your channel no more. And he went in complete meltdown breakdown too.
Yep.
I have to say something before you start the show.
Of course. Well, yeah, go ahead.
So the Aaliyah Barbie doll came out for $50, and it's already sold out.
Barbie doll? That feels
Yeah.
like about 20-something years too late.
Nah, it came out at the right time if you ask me. But it came out as $50. It's all sold out. Now it's on eBay for $175 to $200. I would like to say, fuck all you eBay resellers. I hate you from the bottom of my heart. You can go to hell.
Has Aaliyah just gotten more popular? Because I remember, like, for a couple years after she died, I feel like that would have been the perfect time to release that.
I mean, they released the Funko Pop. That sold out quick. That's still at a doable price on eBay, maybe. But now since they came out with the Barbie doll,
It's probably the Funko Pop going crazy like it did that made the resellers go, hey, we should buy a bunch of these.
probably.
Because, yeah.
Maybe like the licensing of her name. That family probably just now giving them out.
Yeah.
Could be that too.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Fucking resellers, dude.
Hate them.
They're fucking, and it doesn't matter what it is either, right? Like, it doesn't matter what you collect or what you want, or like, there's resellers out there that just go around trying to fuck everything up, trying to create their own little gray markets.
I see a lot of people in the. I'm on a few like Hot Wheels groups on Facebook. I don't actively collect them. I pick one, I cherry pick one every now and then. I see something cool. I'm not one of these guys going through the boxes when they're putting them out looking for. Oh, I need to get this one, and this. But there's a lot of resellers like pissing people off now. They're selling like mainline cars for $30, $40 on eBay.
You can't even go thrift shopping now and find good stuff anymore. I see about 2 or 3 of them every time I go in. Always checking their phone, price checking, and on eBay, seeing what they're going for, getting all the good stuff.
Well, and not even that though. Like, I don't know about y'all, but like, I'll go hit up like thrift stores and Goodwills and just see what kind of cool stuff they have, and anything that like even can be construed to be mildly collectible. They got jacked up prices on.
Yes, that's true.
And I'll look at something, I'll be like, damn, that's more than I could buy it for on eBay. But they're like, oh, it's a collectible, so we can just charge a shit ton for it. They don't even pay attention to what it, like, because they don't know what they're doing. They just know there's stuff that's collectibles. And there's like, oh, just charge $20 for it. It's like, dude, I could buy it for 10 on eBay, but whatever.
Dude, the whole thrift store thing is like out of whack, because you used to be able to go there and get like knockoff shirts, or not knockoff, like used shirts and used jackets, and it used to be like $1 or 50 cents. Now they want like $20 for a jacket. I'm like, are you serious? Like, what are you're the Goodwill? You're supposed to be like 50 cents to $1.
I know, dude. I grew up poor as shit, and that's where I'd fucking go to thrift store, Goodwill, stuff like that to buy stuff, and it was cheap as hell. You could afford to, like, you know, buy whatever you needed for a job or school or whatever the fuck it was. And now it's like, dude, now we're going to one of our thrift stores, and they got whole sections behind glass for the expensive stuff.
Yep.
Like,
you're like, what the thrift store? Why do you have expensive shit at all? Like,
you're supposed to have just a bunch of cheap things, so people can get like clothes and furniture and an end table, and it's donated to you. And now you're making, like, look at the profits of like even Salvation Army and Goodwill. Look at their CEOs and what they make, and you'll realize that, okay, you get everything given to you for free, and then you sell it, and then you want to make these huge profits when you're supposed to be kind of like a non-profit helping people out type thing. I get business, but I also get that your whole inventory comes to you free, dude.
And there now too. I took some my cousin's old rollator walkers and stuff, because she can't use them anymore. She's wheelchair bound now, and a couple of them were dirty. All they need to be just wiped down, and they wouldn't take them because they had to wipe them down. They're like, it's free. All you do is take a Clorox wipe and wipe it down.
Yeah, it's getting ridiculous, man. And Goodwill's the worst one. Goodwill's the worst one.
Yeah, that's the one that would take them.
Like, they're worse than all the thrift stores around here. The Goodwills have the most jacked up prices. It's like, and it's like, wait, aren't y'all supposed to be the charity organization?
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time I went into a Goodwill and saw somebody that, not to be judgy, but looked like they were the type of people that Goodwill was supposed to be hiring. You know what I'm saying? We all know what I'm saying. I cannot remember the last time I went to a Goodwill. When I was growing up, as a kid in the 80s and the 90s, you would go into Goodwill, and that's where all the people that you could tell really couldn't get a job somewhere else, they worked there, because that's part of what Goodwill did. You know? And not anymore. So, And, whatever, man. Oh, by the way, Jared, I got to show you this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even make my screen bigger. I was working on what we were talking about last night.
Oh, nice.
I had to hollow the head out.
Nice.
Had to hollow the head out a lot. But
Is that a Jared head sculpt on that destroyer?
Yes.
I got 2 eyes. Thank you very much.
But anyway, I was messing around with that today.
Oh, Jared, thanks for the shout out on the
Oh, dude.
last night.
Anytime. It's like, I love your music.
Thank you.
All right. So we're going to talk about top 10 guilty pleasure movies. Now, as I was going through all these lists, because you go through lists. Every time we're doing a list, I always like to go type in, I always Google, top whatever it is, just to see what other people are saying, just to get ideas. Because, especially when you're doing movies where there's not, like, it's one thing to do top 10 movies of a specific year, because you can just look at the movies that year and pick your top 10. But when you're doing something like top 10, guilty pleasure movies where there's no year limit, right? I got to get some ideas, because there's no way I'm just going to off the top of my head remember every movie that I watch and love. So, as I was looking through these lists, I realized that a lot of people consider guilty pleasure movies. A lot of the movies people consider guilty pleasure movies are some of my favorite fucking movies of all time.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I had to take a step back and just accept that a lot of people feel these movies are guilty pleasure movies, even though I personally think they are phenomenal movies, and I don't feel guilty for watching them at all.
You got to give them the criteria.
So, there's kind of a range of criteria, though, right? Like, it's got to be a movie that, in general, outside of maybe a cult following, is not viewed as a good movie.
Yes.
That's kind of... in general, the kind of general consensus of what a guilty pleasure movie is it's generally not considered a good movie. Now, that can be because of a low budget. That could be because of bad dialogue, bad special effects, bad acting, bad story, all of the above, a combination of any of those. Like, there could be a lot of reasons, but in general, it is something that you will never see winning any awards. It is something you will see many people saying is a movie that they truly dislike. It'll be a movie that, I don't know, people walk out of the movie theater a lot of times, but not always. It's a movie that didn't make a lot of money at the box office. So, but, that's kind of the general consensus. It's a movie that most people would say is not a good movie. However, well, I don't know about y'all, but when it comes to my list, I severely disagree with that. But I went ahead and put the movies on my list because I fucking love them anyway. But I understand that a lot of people consider them not good movies. But whatever. So we'll do like we usually do. We're just going to go through the list. But because this isn't a yearly top 10 or anything like that, we don't need to rush through this. We can take time and talk about why we love these movies. Okay? Let's make this a good, interesting conversation as we go through our lists. And we'll do it like we usually do. Everybody does their 10 and everybody does their 9 and so on and so forth. So, start at number 10. Number 10, guilty pleasure movie. We're going to start with Jared.
Con Air.
Con Air.
Oh, right off the back.
Under the hitters. A movie I fucking love.
Oh, I love it too.
I know. And that's the problem with these fucking lists is because if somebody came to me and said Con Air is a shitty movie, I'd be like, them's fighting words, motherfucker. The fuck? But you're right. A lot of people consider it a bad movie. I don't know why. I think it is a glorious cinematic masterpiece. Put down the bunny.
Oh, Steve Buscemi being so creepy.
Oh, yeah. Just being the best serial killer
Yeah.
that you can imagine.
Yeah. I love that movie. That movie is so good.
Yeah,
It is so rewatchable and enjoyable in so many ways. Because you can watch it as a young kid and be like, "Oh, this is so cool," and as an adult, you're like, "Oh, it's got its problems, but I still love it." So, perfect example of a good start.
It's just fun. It is just a fun movie through and through. The premise is extremely entertaining. Nicolas Cage is knocking it out of the park with just the worst fucking Southern accent I've ever heard in my fucking life.
Yeah.
But it just works so well on just every level for me. So yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. That's it fits the list, but it's a great movie. Duke, what do you got for number 10?
Oh, this is a good one. Jaws 2. Although it performed well at the box office, like considering all in all, it is not well received. But I like it just as much as the original. And there are times where I will watch it more than the original. I'm not saying it's better than the original, but I really, really like it. It mixes in the Jaws with like a spooky teen thriller from the late 70s, early 80s, where, you know, like the shark becomes Jason, you know what I mean? Where it's like that, because it's a lot more light and bubbly, but then there's the aspect of more victims to die, where the first one is just like, Jaws is probably one of the most perfect movies ever made, but Jaws 2 to me just holds a lot of credit, and I enjoy watching it. I will revisit it a couple times a year, and to know that Roy Scheider like hated it, like was forced to be in the movie, and was like, I think he quit a couple times, and they made him come back. And anyways, I love that thing a lot. So Jaws. I love 2
the idea that a shark can not only want revenge, but like know how to follow you.
Yep.
Across the country to find your ass.
Yeah, everywhere. So yeah, Jaws 2.
Oh, and not to mention too, it was faster than a plane.
Yep.
That's Jaws 4. This is just Jaws 2, but yes, I agree.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Right. Jaws 4 was like the one that was like the shark roared and it got there. It was faster than a jet.
Oh yeah.
All right, Leo, what do you got for number 10?
For number 10, and this is my childhood brain, because I remember opening up Christmas presents while this movie was in the background playing. No Holds Barred.
Oh, Lord.
Yes. The Hulk Hogan movie.
Yeah.
That's why I love it to this day. Bring back so much childhood memories.
I can't remember the last time I saw that movie. Probably in the late 80s or early 90s was the last time I watched that movie.
Yeah, it came out in 89, so
all those Hulk Hogan like late 80s, early 90s movies are awesome. I'm gonna agree with you. They're so bad, but they're like they're an essence of a time where you could be a wrestler and they'd be like, we're just gonna throw movies at you. Yeah. And they're gonna perform mildly. And we just need like every 9 to 12-year-old to go see this. It will make a crap ton of money. And when I grew up, like that was do you remember like Cop and a Half and like all those like goofy early 90s and like Kindergarten Cop, that whole feel, which the Kindergarten Cop was more mainstream. But
Stop or my mom will shoot.
Yes, like all those things, like Twins, that early 90s stuff to me is gold. So I agree with you, man. That's awesome.
Turning all the old action stars into like comedy stars, try to.
Yes, yeah.
Preston Garvey's got a super chat directed at Duke. War of Rohirrim is my number 1.
Oh, don't even get me started. I can't get too loud tonight. Everybody's sleeping because I'm gonna get so mad. I hate that movie.
You were so mad last time. It's like it took me a while to realize, is that Duke?
Yeah, I was so mad. I hate that movie.
I love that movie.
I was like, who is this new guy? He's really mad.
No, man, that movie is so mad.
You were yelling like Honda.
Oh yeah, I was so mad. It was last week. Yeah, I was bad at that.
All right, Sith, what do you got for number 10?
For number 10, I got Need for Speed Tokyo Drift. I
Wait.
100% uphold, or not Need for Speed, Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift.
There you go.
Right,
Okay, I was gonna say.
I uphold that is the best movie in the franchise, and it's the only one that's actually about street racing.
Yes.
Every other one is the first one's just a body cop movie, or Dances with Wolves with race cars.
Well,
That's
the
it.
first one's just a remake of Point Break with cars.
Yeah. And I love the first one, don't get me wrong, but it's not about street racing. Tokyo Drift is about street racing.
Yeah. Well, I'm just gonna throw it out there now. One of my honorable mentions for this list is the entire Fast and Furious franchise, because I think that whole franchise is just guilty pleasure movies. Because I don't know anybody that doesn't like at least half of them. Yet everybody would agree they're not great movies, right?
Every John Woo movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But anyway,
I will say, seeing the Tokyo Drift boys come back in that last one, fly a Fiero into space was a dream come true.
dude, flying a Fiero into space has to be one of the greatest movie scenes that's ever been filmed. Because it's nobody would have the balls to. No one else had the balls to be like, okay, we're going to strap a rocket to the top of a Fiero and launch it into space, not as a joke, but as a critical plot point to the end of this movie.
Yep.
No, I love those movies. All right, JB, what do you got for number 10?
Who? Y'all said Con Air. That's actually one of my honorable mentions, so I'll just throw that out there right now. That was one of my honorable mentions. But my number 10, The Wicker Man.
Wait, which one?
The Nicolas Cage one.
Nicolas Cage. Okay, so the
Either way, it's a Nicolas Cage movie.
Is it the one?
I like that movie for how stupid it is.
It's
and
ridiculous.
Nicolas Cage is
But
perfect.
it's a stupid movie, and honestly, it's kind of a boring movie. But that end scene,
Mhm.
when he gets the wicker basket full of bees put on his head, and he goes into Nicolas Cage overacting mode, makes watching the entire movie worth it.
Well, you're also forgetting too. He wore a bear costume.
That's true, he did. Yeah, he did.
But that's my number 10, The
Is that
Wicker
the-
Man.
I've never watched that movie. I've only seen clips of it. Is that the clip where the girls in the woods and the guy in the bear costume comes and punches her out?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, dude, it's worth watching. It's
It
very
is.
much
It
worth
is.
watching.
But
I'm
that's my
not saying it's a good movie. I'm saying it's worth
guilty
watching.
pleasure for me. So
Yeah. All right, my number 10, and this movie, not only do so many people hate this movie, but it did really bad at the movies. And considering who the star was, and at the time this movie came out, that was saying something. And that's Last Action Hero.
Oh, yeah.
I love that movie.
This movie
Yeah.
just bombed when we're talking, this was like right after Terminator 2. This movie, anything that Arnold Schwarzenegger did at that time should have been the number one movie ever. And it bombed. People hated this movie so much. Now, I will be honest, I love watching this movie. I swear to God, every time I watch this movie, I catch some other reference when they're in the made-up world in the movie realm or whatever. You know, like you watch that movie, you'll catch all kinds of little shit, like when they go into the video store. And obviously the big one is it's got the Terminator with Stallone's head on it, and everybody notices that one. There's so much other shit. There's so much shit in this movie, and it's so insane, and it's so wildly entertaining. Even if you hate this movie, I would ask that you give it a second look, because it's a really good movie.
Yeah, when he breaks the car window, and he was like, "Man, that actually hurt."
Yeah.
He was like, "Yeah, windows hurt in this reality."
Yeah. I love that movie.
Didn't this movie do great in rental?
It might have. I'm not sure. I know it bombed at the box office, but Many people have come together to say this is the worst Arnold Schwarzenegger movie ever.
Actually,
They were wrong.
No.
I enjoy watching this movie too.
Actually, I think End of Days is worse.
And when you start,
Oh, you shut your fucking mouth. End of Days is glorious.
and
End of Days is a fantastic movie.
All right, I give you that one.
this movie too is also like, is this actually this movie? Anything in this movie actually happened, or is the kid having a psychotic break? Because there's hints to it, like where he actually is having a mental breakdown.
Mm-hmm. And it could be either.
By the way, man, I'm just pulling your heartstrings. I love End of Days like you do, man.
End of Days is an amazing movie.
I know. I was just pulling your heartstrings.
It's a little bit Omen. It's a little bit Rosemary's Baby, but with Arnold Schwarzenegger thrown in.
The only thing worse than End of Days is the Evil Dead trilogy.
Yeah.
Definitely.
By the way, the Evil Dead trilogy is on my honorable mentions. Anyway, all right. All right, Jared, what do you got for number 9?
Number 9, I got the original Fast and Furious movie.
Little Fast and again, I
That's-
don't know anybody that doesn't like at least half of the movies in that series.
See, when it went from the first 3, they are just people in cars. Then going forward, they're superheroes. Vin Diesel's character literally has superhuman strength.
Yeah,
You mean when he stomped a parking garage in half?
that was in
and
what,
told-
9? That was in 9.
And before
Okay.
that, he held a 500 to 600 pound engine with one hand.
Yep.
Yeah. And he could punch concrete pillars and knock concrete chunks out of it.
Yep. And here's the thing, I'm there for all of it.
Yeah.
For all of it. I can't wait till the next one comes out. I'm looking forward to it. All right, Duke, what do you got for number 9?
Okay, this one's really easy. Batman Forever. This is not very well liked and received. It did okay at the box office. This was the first dark version of Batman that we had with the first 2 with what's his name? Tim Burton. But I love this movie. It came out when I was a youngster, and it was very in love with this movie and the ambiance. And we got Robin for the first time, and I liked George Clooney as Batman. I like Michael Keaton better, but I didn't mind
Batman
Val
Forever.
Kilmer.
Val
Val
Kilmer.
Sorry, Val Kilmer. I really liked Val Kilmer as Batman. I like Jim Carrey. I like Tommy Lee Jones. I liked the story. I will watch this anytime I can, just as much as I'll watch the Michael Keaton Batmans. I wish that Val Kilmer would have had a chance to do more, because I
agree. Val Kilmer was so much better than what's his face, George Clooney.
George Clooney, and I liked Val Kilmer, and so it was great. It's one of my favorite Batmans. So yeah, man.
I will say, out of the 4 movies that came out in the 80s and 90s, the quadrilogy, before they reset everything with Batman Begins, the only 2 I like are the original 89 and Batman Forever. Those are the only 2 I like. I don't like Batman Returns, even though Michelle Pfeiffer looks hot in leather. I don't really like that movie. And I don't like Batman and Robin at all. But you're right. Batman Forever, I enjoy that movie every time I've watched it. Not to mention, fantastic soundtrack, by the way.
Oh yeah,
Phenomenal soundtrack. So,
And not to mention the McDonald's glasses.
Yep.
The
Don't
cups.
break out the high end stuff, babe.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, I agree, 100%. Leo, what do you got for number 9?
Number 9, some people might not know this movie, but it is cheesy, but I still love it. Omega Doom with Rutger Hauer.
Omega Doom?
Yes. It came out like 95, I think, or 97.
I gotta look this up. I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, it takes place during a nuclear winter where it's humans versus robots.
1996, Omega Doom,
96. Yeah.
Rutger Hauer. I don't think I've ever heard of this movie.
Oh, you have to watch it.
He's
You
got
have to
so
watch
many
it.
great like B movie, like action movies.
Yeah.
I like Rutger Hauer a lot. One of my favorite movies growing up as a kid was Blind Fury. So I like Rutger
forgot
Hauer a lot.
about that one. Yeah.
But I don't think I ever heard of this one.
Yeah, you have to watch that one.
Okay, I'll
It's
check it out.
cheesy, but it's good.
I'll check it out. All right, Sith, what do you got for number 9?
For number 9, I got Ultraviolet. It's not a very good movie, but as a kid, I was a big fan of Mila Jovovich, so if it had her in it, I liked it. And it was like a weird sci-fi vampire.
I like that movie. I like that movie. It suffers from, I think, the same thing that every Mila Jovovich movie, other than Fifth Element, suffers from, which is they're all really fantastical ideas, usually done on a very low budget.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate. However, I do. That's one of the better ones. She's been in some really bad movies, but I would put that up there with like her being in like the first couple of Resident Evils and stuff like that. I like it. I do. It's this weird kind of what is this? It's like vampirism is like a disease, and I love the technology in that movie they work with, where they create these like little mini portals that they can pull weapons out of. Like she's got that sword that she like pulls it out of her chest, and this little portal to some other dimension opens up on her suit, on her chest, and she pulls out a whole sword. That shit's cool, man. And then she pulls out guns and shit from all.
It's like having video game inventory in real life.
Yeah.
In movie life.
Yeah. It's a fun movie. It's a fun action movie. I like it. I agree. All right, JB, what do you got? Number 9.
I've got one that none of y'all probably even thought about. The Jackal. Not the original one, the one with Bruce Willis. It is a long, drawn-out, suspenseful movie, like a thriller movie, but I enjoy it all the time.
I wouldn't consider that a guilty pleasure movie. It's just a good movie.
Well, it didn't do well at the box office.
Okay, well,
it's not exactly well criticized by people. It's gotten better over time, but I like it. I watch it all the time, and seeing Bruce Willis portray a slimy bad guy is really nice.
all right. I like that movie. No, I agree. I like that movie. I just never considered it a guilty pleasure movie, but sure. All right, my number 9. There may be some debate on this. Some people think the only reason to watch this movie is to see Halle Berry's titties. I, however, think there are other reasons to watch it as well. That, of course, is Swordfish. I like this movie. It's John Travolta, Halle Berry, Hugh Jackman. This is like a fucking weird, almost futuristic, but not really futuristic hacker / heist movie, where Hugh Jackman plays the guy who gets pulled into this heist that he doesn't want to be a part of because he's trying to go straight, even though he's just an incredibly good-looking hacker that just got out of prison and only wants to take care of his daughter. And John Travolta is overacting like at peak performance in this movie. And yes, Halle Berry does show her tits in this movie. However, it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of cool scenes in it. The heist portion at the end is done really well. Everybody does a great job overacting in the entire movie. It's a lot of fun, man. I like this movie a lot. So I'm gonna stick with Swordfish. I know a lot of people hate this movie and say it is dumb and has no point in existing. I disagree. So there you go, Swordfish. All right, number 8, Jared. What do you got?
Number 8, Split Second, another Rutger Hauer movie.
Oh yeah, that's the one where he's fighting the what is that
creature in the sewers?
Yeah, I forget what that creature turns out to be.
It's some kind of like ancient magical beast type thing.
Yeah. No, that's a good movie. That's a good movie.
Like after 40 days, 40 nights of rain, it's like it's very. It's almost like a sword and sorcery, but set in like a sci-fi feature-y type environment.
It's a good movie. Good choice.
Plus, it was made right after the Star Trek Undiscovered Country, the one where they get arrested for killing the ambassador they didn't do.
Yeah.
And the chick that plays the Vulcan, what's her name? She's famous now, after that. Got famous after that. She still got her like buzz cut haircut from playing the Vulcan. Like her sides, their hair still like shaved. And
it's the chick. I'm blanking on her name, but it's the chick who was in Sex and the City who fucking And then I know her as a kid because she was the mannequin in Mannequin.
Yep.
Oh.
So,
but
yeah,
you can see her titties in that movie too.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
They were nice at the time.
All right, Duke, what do you got for number 8?
Number 8.
And no, you can't say Command and Conquer Red Alert.
Battlefield Earth.
You know, I get little fucking notifications when you play a game, right?
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm playing. Battlefield Earth, man. I love that movie. It's really bad and was received horrible.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. So far, out of every movie we've all mentioned, that fits the term guilty pleasure better than anything else we've talked about, because that is a truly fucking awful movie.
An awful movie.
That is so Duke wins. He wins the night with that one.
He does.
It's true. Yeah.
I did the same thing like you did. I looked at like people's guilty pleasure movies. It's like, why do they consider these bad? These are awesome.
Yeah. But that one's bad. That's a bad movie
truly probably one of the worst movies I've ever freaking seen.
And you know what makes it even worse is when you realize that a lot of that is like mixed up in fucking the beliefs of Scientology.
Yes.
And you're like, oh wow, okay. Like not all of it. It is sci-fi, but like some of the shit in that is like straight up from fucking Scientology. I will admit, I've watched that movie several times, and its ridiculousness does have a component of enjoyability to it.
The fact that you can live your life as a caveman and then learn how to fly a fighter jet.
Yes.
It just
Just a matter
that
of
took me out. That took me out right there when I first did it. Like, what?
I like the fact that an advanced alien civilization took all the time and effort to come all the way to Earth to take over the entire planet, enslave everyone, spend untold quadrillions of gagillions of whatever their space dollars are to build these cities and structures and do all this shit to fucking mine gold.
One of the most abundant resources in the universe.
Yeah.
So who don't like gold?
I'm just saying, like, you can fucking, like, if you are in advanced space race like they are, gold's fucking everywhere, dude. Like, you'll find more gold in the fucking asteroid belt in our solar system than on fucking Earth. Like,
Yep.
And I went to the movie theaters to see this.
oh, dude, I did the first time too.
Yes.
Yeah, I went to the movies to see it when it came out because, first of all, I didn't really. I mean, I knew who L. Ron Hubbard. I knew who L. Ron Hubbard was because they used to come up with those fucking infomercials in the middle of the night about like Dianetics and sci-fi and all this shit that he was writing. I don't even know when that movie came out in the late 90s or early 2000s or whatever it was, if I had even heard of Scientology at that point in my life yet. Like, I didn't know there was a religion. I thought this was just a sci-fi writer. Like, I thought that's who L. Ron Hubbard was a sci-fi writer, which, I mean, he was, but he was also a cult leader.
What you think too, like you can understand like the cult thing happening pre-internet days when nobody could talk about there was not a web of people talking about this stuff.
Yeah,
but there's still people sign up for it.
Yeah.
But,
But, yeah, no, I went to the movies to see that. Yeah. And I just remember being in the movie like, the fuck am I watching? Okay. I'm not trying to give Duke shit, but maybe I am.
Duke won. He picked like a
he won.
movie,
He won the
but it
guilty
is
pleasure.
hilarious to watch.
Yeah. All right, Leo, what do you got? We're on number 8.
Number 8, I have Masters of the Universe.
Oh,
With Dolph Lundgren.
Dude, that is the other.
Wait, if I may ask, what's this poll about? Like bad sci-fi movies or something?
No, guilty pleasure movies.
Oh,
I would say you're right there with Duke with that one. You and Duke may have won this one.
I still love it though. Like as a kid, like in my kid brain, watching it
no,
for the first time
Oh,
on
yeah.
It's on my
HBO. I
that's
think
on
when I
my
watched
list.
it.
It's just higher.
Okay.
That is 100% on my list. It's higher. It's
And like, dude, that's probably like, if you think about it, too, like Master Universe movie is probably one of the first things they start trying to put woke shit in a big franchise property. Because all the Eternians are vegetarians. They don't believe in eating meat.
oh, you don't?
Dude, He-Man don't look like that without eating meat. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because they were shocked when they were eating like rib bones. It's like,
Yeah.
you mean I'm eating a rib of an animal?
Right. No, what?
Wait, did they?
That was one of the best scenes I liked because I thought
Well, I
that
was gonna
was
say, did they?
hilarious.
So they said that in the cartoon. They only
No, not in the
Well,
cartoon. They added it to the movie.
The movie, because in the cartoon they ate meat.
Yeah.
No.
The cartoon.
And in
Whoa.
the movie, he eats a whole bunch of kale.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that movie is the best thing about that movie was, I will say, I think they spent 99% of the budget on Skeletor's makeup.
oh, he's the best.
Oh,
Because dude, Frank Langella as Skeletor, first of all, on point casting. Like,
Yeah.
he did fantastic. Second, the makeup, dude, and his costume was phenomenal.
and
Phenomenal.
he wanted to do that for his kids.
Yeah.
And he was very disappointed too that they changed the look of the costume because he said he got jacked for that role, and they covered up in robes. He's
Funny
like
you said.
Mm.
Funny you said that. I finally actually thought of a guilty pleasure movie.
Yes.
Yes.
Street Fighter.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
That was
fuck.
gonna make
Shot
my
Red
list.
wins. Shot Red wins. That's the worst fucking movie we've heard so far. That's worse than Battlefield Earth.
You know what? The reason why that didn't make my list because everybody universally knows that that's just a bad movie.
Mm-hmm. But if you're a lover of the games and stuff, you want to see it.
Oh, yeah. I went and saw it at the movies, and then I
Me
was like,
too.
Oh, same.
I wanted to remove my eyeballs while I was watching it. So,
I mean, you got to watch it for Bison, though. Come on.
Why am I say Raul Julia was great?
Yeah, he's still
Yeah,
he's
that's
the
right.
best
That was the
part
only
of the
best
whole
part.
movie.
I mean, he was a great actor in that movie, especially given that we now know all he was going through at the time.
Yeah, that's one of his last
However, he was a horrible choice for Bison.
True. He was too skinny
Yes, he was,
Yeah, a little skinny.
and old.
but he's still the best part of the movie. Better than
Yeah, he gave a
coked
great
up John
performance.
Claude. I mean, honestly.
Dude, everybody was horribly cast in that fucking movie.
Except for Chung Lee. Chung
Okay,
Lee
yeah,
died.
Chun-Li, it was, what's her face? Ming-Na Wen, right? Yeah. Ming-Na Wen. Yeah, she was good. All right, Stith, what do you got for number 8?
For number 8, Velocipaster. I don't know if it really counts because it's made to be a B movie, made to be a guilty pleasure, but it's hilarious and the lack of.
I've had several people, including starting years ago when this movie first came out on Amazon Prime, which is probably about 5-6 years ago, angry told me I have to watch this movie, and I've never watched it.
It's a horrible movie.
It's a horrible movie, but it's great to watch. Their special effects, like they have a car blow up on screen, and in the movie, rather than have it show up, they just put up like notes saying, "Hey, there's an explosion here. We couldn't afford to put in the special effects, so pretend there's an explosion."
All right.
Boom.
All right, JB, what do you got for 8?
I had at number 8, True Lies.
True.
Oh, what?
That's a great movie. What are you talking about?
I
That's a guilty pleasure movie. That is a well-renowned, well-regarded movie.
Okay. To be honest, I had The Last Action Hero picked out, but I didn't want to copy you. I didn't want to copy
Who
you
gives a shit?
because I was
I will say True
critical
Lies is a
I
guilty
was
pleasure movie.
critiqued for copying
You know,
you last
it is
time.
a fun movie. It is not a great.
I
Watch
did not
movie.
like. Yeah, I did
All
not
right.
like True Lies. I didn't
I
like.
agree with
Another
JB.
Schwarzenegger
I like
film.
True
How
Lies.
about this?
I agree with JB.
Yeah,
Yep,
but
I
nobody
agree with
else
him, too.
agrees that it's a. I mean, it made a fuck ton of money, and it was James Cameron's next movie after Terminator 2.
It did, yeah.
Like, it was a very successful movie that many people love.
Well, the thing is, though, it doesn't. When you watch it now, it don't hold up like Terminator 2.
Yes.
Yeah,
It is a ridiculous plot.
I didn't like it
Come
when
on.
it came out. So
I hear more people agreeing with my choice.
She takes
Right.
out how many people just by dropping a gun down the set of steps?
Yeah.
A lot.
that was a great part of the movie, though. I have to admit that one.
Yeah.
That
Yep.
was the best part for me.
Yeah, you gotta get the the stripper dance. Do it.
Yep.
Do it
Mhm.
again.
Yeah.
Do it some more. Yeah. Anyway, all right. My number 8, Sucker Punch. I know a lot of people hate this fucking movie.
I like that one.
A lot of people hate everything Zack Snyder does. However,
That was a decent movie.
I never
this
even heard
movie,
of it.
you never heard of Sucker Punch? Really?
No.
I think this was the movie he did right before Man of Steel.
Yep. This was in between Watchmen and Man of Steel.
Yeah. And it's a completely original story. It's not based on anything. It's like a weird it's filmed and shot and looks like it's a comic book movie, but it's not a comic book movie. It's just visually really well done, and it's got a lot of fucking ass kicking in it and like pseudo comic book / video game styled scenes of action in it.
It looks like a porno.
It does.
Isn't
That
the-
poster makes it look like a porno, doesn't it? It's not.
It's pretty much like a stylized,
I bet you couldn't
video
find a
game
parody
movie. That's all it
porno.
is.
I bet there's a parody of it like that, though.
There probably is a Sucker Punch
Probably is.
porno somewhere. But
Donkey Punch.
yeah, if you haven't seen it, go check it out. I'm not saying it's a good story or anything. I'm just saying it's fun to watch.
Isn't the guy that like teaches her? Isn't that the mentor from Daredevil, the Daredevil series?
Yeah, he's in it, and fucking what's his name? Moon Knight's in it. He plays one of the bad guys. There's a bunch of people, dude. Everybody in the movie, you're gonna recognize everybody in the movie. So, anyway, I like it. It's a good, fun movie. All right, Jared, what do you got for number 7?
Mortal Kombat.
More Kombat. Okay, yeah.
It's on my list. So
I have a hard time considering that a guilty pleasure movie because I like it so much.
Oh, my top movies. You're going like those are not guilty pleasure movies.
I know.
I did what you did. I just went on like why people consider these guilty pleasure movies? These are
Yeah.
awesome. It's
Yeah.
like, well, I put my favorite ones on that little list as rearranged them.
Yeah. No, I like the first Mortal Kombat movie is fucking great. I love that movie.
yep.
Great soundtrack too. Oh,
Yep.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
They never put those in the soundtrack to the games.
I think
Yeah.
I still have the soundtrack. I think I still have like the CD in my pantry somewhere.
Also, I did a quick look. Yeah, there's some Sucker Punch porn parodies.
Yep, there's a lot of them.
Of course.
I'm gonna do some research later on tonight just to see.
Better your
Or VR
words
too.
than mine. All right, Duke, what do you got for number 7?
Number 7 is Super Mario Brothers. Man, I love that.
Yeah,
I like
I like that movie too.
I do like.
Duke is just killing it tonight.
Duke got some good ones.
I was
Duke got
unaware
good ones.
until a chat here with you guys that that was a bad movie, because I grew up thinking it was like the best movie ever made.
Cinema.
Yeah,
And then like Matt was like, "What are you talking about? That bombed at the box office." And so I looked it up, and it is one of the worst movies ever made.
Yeah.
And I just found out about this like last year. That
Yeah.
like no one else liked it. I thought like
I was
I
always
thought
waiting for
everyone
a
did.
sequel. I'm like, oh, maybe the sequel will get better.
yeah. No, I thought like everyone.
Childhood destroyed.
Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, everyone loves this movie. It's the best thing ever. And then Matt was like, no, dude, you need to look it up. And I was like, oh, yep, Matt's right. I like trash, but I don't
And you
care.
find out like John Leguizamo like what was high for most of the movie.
Yeah, like crazy stuff happened.
Mhm.
But yeah, that was super funny.
Oh, let me get Revolver's question out in the chat. Have you seen Odd Thomas? Yes, I have seen Odd Thomas. It's a phenomenal movie. I've also, before the movie came out, I read, I think most, maybe even all the Odd Thomas books. It's a book series. That character's based on. The movie was based off the very first book. The movie was really good. The books are really good. And highly recommend watching that movie and reading the books, by the way, if you've never read any of the Odd Thomas books. All right, Leo, what do you got for number 7?
it's really cheesy money movie, but I love it. Surf Ninjas.
Dude, spot on. Spot
Yeah.
on.
I have to go back and rewatch that one.
No, it's so good.
You can replace that with 3 ninjas if you want, but I think Surf Ninjas is better.
If I'm being completely honest, I don't think I've ever seen it.
Surf Ninjas?
Yeah, well, because it came out after my time. I wasn't. That was a movie geared at kids, and I was not a kid when that movie came out. Because that movie was what, like 93, 94?
Yeah,
was it,
94, 95.
Yeah,
Somewhere
dude. In
around there,
95, I was 18.
Okay.
So I honestly don't think I've ever seen that movie. So
93.
93. So okay, I was 16.
That's the one
Either
that
way,
Rob
it's-
Schneider in that
It's
one, right?
still after my time because that movie was not geared towards 16-year-olds.
No. Yeah, by that time your hormones was fully kicked in and it was all about girls. Yeah.
All right.
In 93, I was 10, so I still had time.
Yeah, you were still there.
All
All
right.
right, Seth,
My-
what do you got for number
My number 7 is the Suicide Squad, the second one. It's
second one?
not. Yeah, the one
I
with
like the second one, but I also understand it's not a good movie.
right. It's very fun to watch. It's not very good for the characters that's in it, but I enjoy watching it. It's fun.
Yeah, I would say I agree.
I like it. I agree. That's a good one. JB, number 7.
I went with Vampire's Kiss
Vampire's Kiss. What is that?
with Nicolas Cage. This was the
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
That one where he thinks he's turning into a vampire?
yes.
Oh, dude, I haven't watched that thing since
I love the movie
92.
from start to finish. It is perfect, and it's just one where I can just shut off my brain and enjoy all the way through.
Yeah.
So,
All right,
Vampire's
cool.
Kiss.
Is that the prequel to Renfield?
I need to go. I need
I
to
think
watch
so.
that. I need to rewatch that sometime because I haven't watched that since like the 90s.
It's
to rewatch
great.
Yeah.
It's gotten better with time.
Well, and especially because now it's gotten to the point where like I truly appreciate Nick Cage overacting. Like that's what makes watching him fun.
Yep.
So, all right, cool. All right, my number 7. Love this movie. I love this movie. I maintain it is a phenomenal movie. However, it bombed and a lot of people hate it. And that is Van Helsing with Hugh Jackman in it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
I
like
love
that
this
one.
movie. I wanted to see like sequels to this movie. I was down for more Van Helsing. I want to see. I love the ending when he turns into a freaking werewolf. Like, I love this movie. I thought it's phenomenal. I saw this at the movies, and I couldn't have been happier. I was like, that's money well spent. This movie's going to be great. It's going to make fucking $1 billion. It's going to be the next big fucking Hugh Jackman vehicle of franchises. And then fucking people hated it.
This
Hey,
is
I
actually
don't
on
know
my list
why.
too.
I love this damn movie.
This is
But,
on my list too. So
Yeah, I love this movie. The movie's so much fun. And I
Mhm.
like the whole, it's vampires and Van Helsing and werewolves and Frankenstein and like it's just it's all the cool shit that you want in a movie like this, and it's done really well. So yeah, Van Helsing's my number
I have
7.
something similar. I have something similar on my list, but I get to it.
Okay. All right, Jared, what do you got for number 6?
Starship Troopers.
Starship Troopers.
Guilty? No. That is one of the greatest sci-fi movies of all time.
Look, I
It was
agree.
so
cheesy.
classic.
It
Look,
was
here,
cheesy.
I agree. It is one of the greatest sci-fi movies of all time, but there is no denying that it is, by most mainstream movie audiences, considered a bad movie.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yes. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Which I love the movie, dude. I can quote every fucking word of that goddamn movie. I love that movie, and I will die on that hill that it's a great movie. However, I do think it's perfect for this list.
I bought the book because of that movie.
Yeah.
I didn't finish the book, but I bought it.
Yeah.
It's still on my shelf.
I would add one of the sequels to my guilty list. I like the
Oh, the second
one
one.
with the bug god, Behemocoidal.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
like
that
the
one.
Behemocoidal.
All right, Duke, what do you got for number 6?
Number 6 for me is the classic and always good Suburban Commando. So it goes back to the Hulk Hogan.
Yes.
Yeah, dude, I watched that on repeat for probably 3 years. I got it out of the bargain bin of VHS at Walmart, and I watched that thing over and over. And the Undertaker is in it, and his voice is super high. And 9-year-old Duke thought that was probably the funniest thing ever.
It was.
And I thought everyone loved that movie until I got older, and no one likes it. Yeah.
I mean, but everyone did when you was under 13 years old.
You're right.
Everyone did love that movie.
Duke, I just want to tell you, sir, don't feel too bad. Suburban Commando was actually on my honorable mentions list. It's on there.
Yeah.
So you're not the only one that likes Suburban Commando.
Same
Well,
here.
y'all are all like the perfect age for that. Like
Yeah.
for me, for Jared, like we were already like, by the time that movie came out, we were teenagers, 15, 16, 17, whatever it is. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of movies, dude. Like if you were a kid, like I still love those 2 shitty fucking Ewok adventure movies. Why? Because they came out when I was like fucking, 8, 9 years old, whatever the hell it was.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They're awful fucking movies, right? But I still like them. So I get it. I get it. All right, Leo, number 6.
Con Air.
Con Air.
Yep, don't need to say much about that.
Yeah.
Well, we
like Con
talked
Air.
about it already.
Right.
It's a phenomenal movie. But yes, a lot of people say it's a bad movie. I disagree. Leo, I think it is a fantastic movie.
Right.
And it's a great choice for any list, not just a guilty pleasure list. So I agree 100%. Sith, what do you got?
For my number 6, I went Ghost in the Shell, the
Scarlett Johansson one?
Scarlett Johansson one. It's not as good as the actual, like the original
Oh,
movie.
nowhere near.
But a lot of the criticisms for it, I felt were uneducated, I guess.
Well, most of the
Everyone complained.
criticisms that I
Well,
remember
a lot of
for it-
criticisms because the critics are racist because it needs to be an Asian person.
Right, even though it's not. It's a robot. She's
And
like
the creator of
Well,
Ghost
she
in
ain't a
the Shell
robot.
said he's a great casting for it.
Well, because she wasn't Asian in the cartoon.
no.
She was not Asian. So,
Well, I'll say this: she does able to switch bodies around. And I have not seen this movie myself as a fan of Ghost in the Shell, but I heard they did something where like, oh, that it has that scene where you do see her what you think she might look like in the actual from the anime. I was like, oh, okay.
The thing they messed up more than anything is the fact she has an organic brain.
Yeah, it's not as good as the original, but it's a serviceable sci-fi movie, and it's not nearly as bad as a lot of people made it out to be.
She's a cyborg and not a fully artificial body.
Yeah.
In the movie, live action movie.
All right, JB, number 6.
My number 6 is one that has Brad Pitt, Bullet Train.
Oh, Bullet Train.
I like that movie. I don't know.
Not a bad movie. I thought they did
Is that
it.
considered a bad movie?
Most people have considered it to be a bad movie.
Yeah, I bought that and watched it with family members. Like, and I think I was the only one that enjoyed it.
I enjoy it. Every time I turn it on, me and the wife, we have to sit down and watch all of it all the way through.
I watched it with my wife, and we both liked it. So I guess that's the only reference I have. Is like the only other person I know because it didn't go to the movies, right? Like it was streaming. So the kind of gauge for whether or not something's like hated or loved,
I think it did have a
lot different.
No, that was in the movie theater because I went to the movie theaters to see it, and people I saw with they loved it.
Okay. I just had it on my list.
All right, my number 6. Oh wait, before we get to my number 6, Mr. Scary says the worst guilty pleasure movie is Garbage Pail.
Oh yeah,
that movie's. I think I've only seen that movie once, and that was when it came out in like what was that 1990? I think.
Was it? It wasn't late 80s.
Maybe it was late 80s. I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, them Garbage Pail Kids look creepy in that movie.
But yeah, little fucking demon children. All right, my number 6, Leo, you're gonna love this.
Okay.
Fucking Con Air. God damn it.
Mm-hmm.
Con Air. Number 6. Yes.
Put down the bunny.
Love this movie. I know we've already talked about it. It's been on the list 3 times already, so we ain't gonna sit here and talk about it. But I love this.
I thought I saw a hilarious thing was just popped in my head. You know how the left can't mean? And they were talking about like they should need to rename Air Force One Con Air. Said, yeah, it's like the movie where he was wrongly convicted and he's ended up being the hero of the story.
Yeah, exactly.
Garbage Pail Kids, 1987.
87, really? It was that early? Okay.
Yep.
Maybe I just didn't see it because I know I didn't see it at the movie, so I probably saw it whenever it went to like HBO or
cable.
Something.
Yeah. I mean, that's how I see a lot of these movies. Like, I mean, that's how you first discover these movies.
Well, yeah, especially when you're a kid, because you're not going to the movies, because a lot of this shit is rated R, so you don't see it at the movies when you're fucking, 10, 11, 12 years old, right? You see it when it fucking plays on HBO or Cinemax or something.
Yep, that's how I found out about old Mega Doom with Rucker Howard. I was watching HBO or Showtime, one of those.
So some of the stuff I had because my folks had the VHS tapes and shit.
Well, we went we rent movies from the local video store a lot because we didn't have a movie theater for a long. We had a movie theater for a short while when I was little, and then it closed down. And we didn't have for years. We didn't have a movie theater, so go rent movies is the only way we could do it, and that's how I saw a lot of B movies. I love the full moon stuff, which I don't have any full moon stuff on here because I consider those just straight up B movies. They're C movies.
All right. Number 5. We're in our top 5 now. What do you got, Jared?
Tango and Cash.
Tango and Cash, fantastic movie. And you get to see Terry Hatcher's tits.
Yeah.
To me, that's more exciting than Halle Berry's tits.
I mean,
dude, she was super, super hot at the time.
I mean, how often do you get to see
everybody?
Come on.
Okay.
There was I remember there was I've seen an interview here recently. It's like one of those see those pictures like Terry Hatcher's tits on like online. It was in a movie. She was shooting a movie that's supposed to be like an abandoned wing of this like building they do tours in. Apparently they didn't stop on the tours, and this family walked by and she's like butt naked. It was just and they got to see Terry Hatcher naked in person during the tour.
I like it when Kurt Russell's like, Rambo's a pussy. That's a great movie. All right, dude, what do you have number 5?
What did Stallone say
Number-
in the line? Oh, Rambo's a pussy. When
Was
he
it,
shot-
was it- I thought it was
No, it was when he was shooting the truck, the tanker truck, and everybody thought it was going to explode, and then cocaine started pouring out of it.
oh, that's right, it was him, wasn't it? Okay.
I said she looks nice and buff in this video.
All right, go ahead, dude.
Number 5 is without a doubt one of my favorite movies. Is Beastmaster. That is, I just watched it recently. It does not hold up. That is a horrible movie, but I still will watch it every single time. I love that. Except for the
I see that thing pop up all the time on like best fantasy movie lists.
Really,
Yeah. I never thought it. That's another one. Like I would not have thought of that as a guilty pleasure movie because I think it's just a good movie.
Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah, that's one for me. Growing up in the '80s, like I would agree. It was like one of the best '80s fantasy movies.
The opening scene was so creepy when you watch it.
Dude, it was so fucked up. I had nightmares about that shit. Being a fucking dude being born out of a fucking cow, like that shit. It was such a fucked up opening.
When they hold those guys down and they put the drops in their ear and it melts their brains.
Yeah,
and it become that messed me up so bad about putting eardrops in my ear.
Oh, but you hated the beginning of Wrath of Khan, didn't you?
Oh yeah, dude.
Fucking earwigs in fucking Chekhov's ear.
No, dude, that's terrifying.
Drop it in their fucking helmet. Put their helmet on. And he's like, ah, ah, ah. Yeah.
Yeah, terrifying.
Yeah. All right, Leo. What do you have for number 5?
Number 5. Remember I said it's something similar to what was it? Your number 7 was it Van Helsing? It was I, Frankenstein.
Yeah,
I love the gargoyles in it.
That's a perfect guilty pleasure movie, but I agree with you. That's a movie I like a lot.
Yes.
I, Frankenstein's a good, fun movie. And I'd be willing to bet we may be the only two here that have actually seen it.
I saw it and I liked it.
You saw it?
Yeah.
It was very much, I mean, you could tell it very much came out in the aftermath of Underworld.
Yep.
Being
I think
popular.
same directors or writers.
Yeah, and so they kind of wanted to it had a very Underworld feel to it, but they wanted to do something different. But I like it. I think it's a fun movie.
And you rarely see gargoyles in movies. Except for like the real cheesy one back in the 80s or 70s.
Well, and I like what they did with the gargoyles in that they're essentially angels, right?
Yeah.
Like, gargoyles are basically angels. And I like what they did with him. I liked Aaron Eckhart as Frankenstein because it was just like, oh, here's a dude that just kind of looks like a normal dude. He's not fucking green with a flat head and bolts coming out of his neck. Like he's got scars and shit on him. He's a little fucking worse for wear. He's roughed up, right? But he's a fairly normal dude, which makes more sense because
and he got the best body parts to make him quick and strong and stuff like that. So it makes sense.
I like that movie.
That's one of those movies too, like you're talking about. I like seeing sequels being made.
Yeah.
From Van Helsing. It's like, I like that movie.
I would like to see more I, Frankenstein movies. It would have been great. I would love to have seen I, Frankenstein fucking meet up with a modern version of Van Helsing and do a crossover movie.
You know what? Speaking of crossover movies, I wanted the gargoyles in the Underworld movie. So we had vampires, werewolves, and gargoyles.
Yep.
Oh
my! That would have been so great.
Yep, that would have been cool. All right, Sis, what do you got for number 5?
Number 5, I'm going back to the purposefully bad movies. I got Spaghetti Man.
I don't even know what that is.
Right.
It's like parody movie, I guess, but instead of a radioactive spider, he eats a radioactive bowl of spaghetti and becomes part spaghetti, and his name is Clark Kent.
Okay.
Yeah, his roommate ends up becoming the villain, and it's just an overall just a wild ride of a movie that's like not good, but it's so much fun to watch.
Okay.
So I need to watch the trailer for that one.
I've never heard of this movie.
It's in a very similar vein to Velocipaster.
Okay. All right, JB, what do you got for number 5?
The one we've been talking about for most of the night, Con Air.
On Air. Yep.
Yep.
I feel like that's a good one. I feel like it would not surprise me if that was on most people's lists somewhere. So I get it. Great movie. All right. My number 5 has already been mentioned once. I'm going to throw it up again. Starship Troopers. Love this movie. Can quote this movie backwards and forwards. Will always be one of my favorite movies. However, I understand that it is not like it has gained cult status, but in general, for most movie-going audiences, most people do not consider this a good movie.
So the fact he didn't go with the redhead makes it the horrible movie.
Makes a fucking dumbest fucking choice you could ever make, because Dina Meyer is way hotter than what's her face.
And plus, too, she is aged like a fine wine, and the other chick's aged like cheese.
Yeah. Probably from all the Charlie Sheen aids. But
I could not bring myself to put Starship Troopers on my list. There is just nothing guilty about it for me.
I agree.
It is like one of my favorite movies of all time.
I personally don't think any of the movies on my list are guilty pleasures. However, I understand a lot of people would consider them that. But I personally don't think this is a guilty pleasure movie. I think it's a phenomenal movie that everybody should watch at least once a year.
I would like to. It would have been cool to see if they could have done this movie a few years later, when they could have actually had the mechs and stuff.
Yeah. Well, they did do the mechs in the third one. I don't know if you've ever seen the third one. Which the third one's actually pretty good. It's nowhere near as good as the first one, but it's way better than the second one, because the second one was awful.
Really? I like the second one for certain things.
I mean, I think there's tits in the movie, but that's about it. But the third one's actually, because it brings back some of the cast, and they've got the mechs in there, and there's, I like the third one. It's not as good as the first one, but I like the third one.
The mechs make it more sense to be fighting those giant bugs.
Yeah, a lot more sense. All right, let me get the super chat, then we're going to move on to number 4. Preston said, shouldn't he be black if they wanted him to be fast?
Frankenstein.
I mean, maybe.
His legs should have been black. He should have had black legs sewed onto a white body.
He should have had at least one black leg. Anyway. All right, Jared, what do you got for number 4?
Nicolas Cage hammering it up as Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider. That's a good choice. I like that first one. The second one's awful, but the first one's fun. There's a lot of I think most of those Marvel movies that happened in like the 2000s, but not including the X-Men and Spider-Man stuff, and then they pretty much died off when Iron Man came along. But like the Ghost Rider and Punisher and Daredevil and like the Fantastic Four movies, I still enjoy all those movies. I still like all those movies. I mean, I understand they're not like quote unquote as good as what Marvel ended up being able to do later on after Iron Man, but I still think those are a lot of fun, man. Including Ghost Rider. I think first Ghost Rider movie is good. All right, Duke, number 4.
Oh, before I'm going to interrupt Duke. The visuals, though, in that movie it's not a great story, and by far a great movie whatsoever. It's just the visuals in that movie is just phenomenal.
Oh, yeah, they did a really good job with the special effects in that movie. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Dookie Doo. Dookie Doo.
He's on a hard level in the game.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing. I can't remember the last time I played Command and Conquer.
Which group is he playing? Yeah.
Well, we'll come back to Duke. Leo, what do you got for number 4?
Face Off.
Face Off.
Need I say more?
No, you do not need to say more.
Exactly.
That's a good one.
Yep.
Arguably the greatest movie of all time.
Yep.
We've had extensive, long, detailed conversations about Face Off on this channel over the last 15 years.
Oh yeah.
I'm right there with you. Sith.
My number 4 was also Ghost Rider. And I have a caveat for Ghost Rider 2. Movie's awful, but it has one of my favorite scenes ever. And it's when Nicolas Cage is pinned a guy against the wall. He's just like, I'm gonna let him out. He's scraping at the door. And it's just over the top Nicolas Cage scene.
That's true.
Oh,
Yeah.
what about when he's pissing fire?
Yeah.
Well, there are good. Look, the movie's awful. However, there are some cool scenes in it. Like I like when he turns the crane into the fucking Ghost Rider fucking thing. Like that.
Yeah.
There's some cool stuff in it.
I tried to rewatch the second one the other day, and I couldn't get all the way through it, but I did get to watch that. Scraping at the door.
Yeah.
I hate the visual choice to change the look of the Ghost Rider where he's always charred looking.
He looks like he's melting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it didn't look good. All right, JB, number 4.
Van Helsing.
Van
number
Helsing. There
Yep.
it is.
My number 4.
Love that movie. It's a good movie, man. Everybody
Yep.
out there who's never seen it should go watch Van Helsing with Hugh Jackman. It's fucking great.
Watch it. It is worth your time.
All right.
And what's crazy, old as that movie is,
I'm ready.
they're doing better visual
I'm ready,
graphics in that movie than new ones. I'm sorry, Duke's back.
Duke got skipped. Duke doesn't get it.
Duke's back to do his number 4.
Number 4. Is that? Yeah, Waterworld. Waterworld.
Waterworld. Oh, fuck. I love Waterworld.
Yeah.
You and me have talked about
That's-
Waterworld many times.
Yeah.
That's one of my top 5 guilty pleasure movies. No matter.
I love
I know people
Waterworld.
hated that movie, but I still really enjoy
I
watching.
thought it was
sometimes.
okay. I thought it was
It bombed so bad because it cost so much fucking money to make.
Mhm.
But that movie is so much fun. I don't know if it's just, I don't know. I mean, it's not like, Kevin Costner's not doing like an amazing acting job in it or anything. So I don't know if it's just the whole, post-apocalyptic thing or what it is. But there's just a lot of cool shit in that movie. I think the story works. I think the characters work. I love the world building in that movie. Like, I would have loved to have seen a continuation of that story.
Same.
I would have loved to see I think there's a ton of movies that you could revisit and redo with a series. So you could do Waterworld, but like 10 parts and just read the story. I'm telling you, that's the kind of way I would like to see things.
Is it me or is Duke going in and out?
He's going in and out of the volume.
I want to mention one movie that came out around that same time. It's not on my list, but I want to mention it. It's with Guy Pearce, The Time Machine.
Time Machine's a great movie.
I
love
love
it.
that movie.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Here's the thing, though. I still like the original from the 50s better.
Yes.
The
I've
original,
never seen that one.
the original
I agree.
H.G. Wells
The-
Time Machine.
I
I grew up
feel-
watching that movie.
I feel the Guy Ritchie one gets better with age. You can watch it later. The more you watch it,
Yeah, it's got much.
the
I mean,
original one
obviously,
is just phenomenal.
it's got much better special effects. But
And I watched it because of Samantha Mumba. That's why I watched it.
Like I said, it wasn't on my list. I just wanted to mention it. So
That's a great movie.
all right, my number 4. Now, surprisingly, this movie actually did make a whole lot of money. However, it is still regarded as a bad movie. I don't know why. I love it. And I know a lot of people that like this movie. And it made a ton of money, yet it's still considered a bad movie. And that is Armageddon.
It is a horrible movie.
It
this
is.
one was actually going to be on my list if I ended up with The Jackal. But
I love this movie, dude. This
The
movie,
entire premise
look,
of the
I mean,
movie
it's bad
is
as
the
fuck.
premise is
over the
dumb as
top.
shit. I mean, the premise is stupid as shit. Like,
Yeah.
let's train oil rig workers to be astronauts instead of just training astronauts how to dig a fucking hole. Like, it doesn't make any fucking sense. Like,
I've
the
never
premise of the
missed a
movie
hole.
is dumb as shit. However, it's so much fucking fun. It's got so many great lines and scenes and characters in it. I could watch this movie over and over and over again.
And a great soundtrack.
Yep.
I've never missed a goal.
Don't want to close my eyes.
It gets on the fucking rocket. Yeehaw! What are you doing?
Hey.
Just want to feel the power between my legs, brother.
And Betty Ross's titties are nice in that.
Yep. It's true. All right. We are on to number 3, right? 3. Yes, 3. All right. Jared, what do you got for number 3?
Roadhouse.
Roadhouse.
The original.
He rips that dude's throat out.
Yep.
The scene that I loved as a young, like, 10-year-old when that movie came out, which is when they're fucking on the exercise bike and you see her titties.
And the fact that now that I know too that Bill Murray calls his friend who's married to that woman every time he watches that, Patrick Swayze is nailing your wife against the wall.
That's wild.
Yep. Yeah, that's a great movie. Duke, what do you got for me at number 3?
This is one of my favorite movies. It is the quintessential Sunday afternoon, after church, playing G.I. Joes or Legos and watching a movie on TV. And this is The Postman. I love The Postman. I think it's a great movie. It's a great epic, but it was poorly received. But I love that movie.
I agree. And this is one we started talking about because I'd only ever seen it once, and then you started talking about it when we started talking online, however many years ago that's been now. And you got me to watch it again, and because I had only ever seen it once when it came out back in whenever the fuck it was, late 90s, and I'd only ever seen it once, and I remember thinking, man, it was just really long. And I went back and watched it because you told me it was so good. And you're right. It's a really, really good movie. It's got a great story, great characters. I love the whole post-apocalyptic thing. And the fact that they did the whole thing of like centering it around something as simple as somebody who was delivering mail, right?
Yep.
Like it wasn't some big fucking like, you know, it wasn't like, oh, somebody created the way to bring back civilization or this or that. Like, it was like the dude accidentally fucking found a dude who was dead and, like, took his stuff and delivered some shit. And then it became a thing. And then it started this simple little idea of, like, in this post-apocalyptic world where everything's gone to shit so bad that you can bring back a little civilization and inspire people with something as simple as like now we can make it to where you can talk to other people and you can communicate.
Well, that's the part I was going to say. I was going to ask. What do you think why the film probably didn't do good? Probably because it was probably way too grounded near like that type of post-apocalyptic thing, and probably people didn't care for it.
Like I said, I think it is a very long movie, and
it was out of its time. So
yeah,
done with that kind of movie at that time. They wanted Independence Day, Armageddon, and they weren't ready. They just were done with that. And so it's a product of its time where 10 years ago it probably would have done better, or 7 years ago.
Oh, dude, if you made that movie anytime between like 2015 and now, it would have done 10 times better.
Yeah.
Because people are ready for the more grounded, maybe slower paced, more character driven stories that still have something important to say about society and people and interactions. And because of the fact that for 20 some odd years we got nothing but just always a summer blockbuster opening up every weekend, which are still fun, but now people are not just looking for that. They want something, they want counterculture to that, and that's what that movie is. So yeah, I agree. It's good. It's good. All right, Leo, what you got for number 3?
Number 3, I have Armageddon.
Armageddon. All right. Obviously, I agree with that choice. Fucking fantastic movie. Yep. All right, Sith, what do you got?
So for number 3, I got Clerks 3. It came out and people really didn't like it, and I never really understood why. I mean, I know it was a little bit more of a downer than the other twos, but it was
Well, it was fucking horrible. That's why.
It was emotional, and I liked it. It was sad. And I liked it.
I've only ever watched it once, and I'll be honest. Right now, trying to think about it, I don't remember what I thought about it. I don't remember if I liked it or not.
It's on the par with Coming to America Part 2. The comedy was toned down at a nuclear level.
I'll have to watch it again just to better judge what I think of that movie. I'll have to check it out. Because I've only ever seen it one time, and that was whenever it first came out, which has been, 3 years ago? Something like that?
Yep. It was way better than the Jay and Silent Bob reboot.
Yeah. JB, what do you got for number 3?
All right, I want to get my 2 honorable mentions that way because 1, 2, and 3 are probably the best out of these. But my honorable mention, the first one is Hancock with Will Smith, his superhero flick that unfortunately didn't get off the ground much. I know a lot of people don't remember that movie.
We all do.
Okay, I was making sure.
I got it on DVD.
Yeah. And then the other one was a film that came out when COVID hit in 2020, Bloodshot, with Vin Diesel.
Okay. I like that movie. I don't think it's a great movie, but yeah, it's a fun movie.
Yeah.
I have that one.
But my number 3 is Demolition Man.
That was a great fucking movie that everybody liked.
That was a great movie.
It
But
did
it was
well
not-
too, though, didn't it? Like, it did well at the movies, didn't it?
It was not.
Did
It did not do well critically. So I was going by that with Guilty Pleasures. But I love this movie all the way through. Other people that I've had some people I know that say it's a bad movie and they don't like it. But to me, I love it. Demolition Man.
Those were communists. You heard
Yeah.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Communists hate that movie.
Yeah. So
All right.
that's my
Cool.
number 3, Demolition Man.
All right. My number 3 is part of a franchise, and this is every time I bring this up that this is my favorite out of the franchise, I always get shit because everybody's like, the first one's better. No, it's not, but whatever. My number 3 is going to be Chronicles of Riddick. I fucking love this movie.
Okay.
Ooh.
I'm not saying that Pitch Black was not a good movie. It's a fantastic movie. However, this is a better movie.
I agree.
Better acting, better story, better dialogue, better special effects, hell of a lot better world building
Mhm.
with the whole futuristic universe of Riddick.
Yeah.
Like this movie's fantastic.
I think it's
Um,
been on the list because I love that movie.
I think it was
Especially
done
the
in
director's
2.
cut.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah.
Sorry,
go ahead.
Leo. I'm
No,
sorry.
go ahead. Go ahead.
I like the director's cut even better with the third one.
I was just about to bring all that up. Like, well, how would you rank the 3 movies?
But
In terms of better?
The Chronicles of Riddick is the best, then Pitch Black, and then the third one, which is just called Riddick, is still good, but it's the least good one, in my opinion.
I'm just waiting for when we get an update on
Yeah, for
the
me, I
fourth
thought
movie.
Pitch.
Yeah, well, they're supposed
for
to
me,
be
I
a
thought
fourth
Pitch-
movie in pre-production right now.
Yeah.
I thought Pitch Black was probably like in a different genre. It was more geared
Yeah,
towards
it felt like a
horror
horror.
than science
Yeah,
fiction.
it was more like Aliens. It was more like an Aliens kind of rip-off movie. Whereas
Right.
Chronicles of Riddick was like, okay, let's create this whole kind of futuristic fantasy universe with different planets and telling stories about how the galaxy or the universe or whatever at that point in humanity's future works and the politics of it. And there was just so much more to Chronicles of Riddick than there was. Like, there's so much more world building and like good world building, not just like they just threw bullshit at the wall just to have something there. Like, it was well thought out sci-fi, in my opinion.
I think that's one of the reasons probably some people probably didn't like it because it was really out there as a film because you start off real fast with all that
Some
stuff going
people
on.
likes those out there sci-fi movies. take movies. He latched onto this character a lot. But if I was going to change the order on it, my favorite's still the Pitch Black, and I actually really enjoyed it. If I was going to rank the third one above the second one, only as the director's cut. Theatrical cut, not real good, not very good. They changed up the director's cut where the story's a little different in the Riddick, where it's a lot better than the second one.
Hey, Matt,
Yes,
I'll kill you with my teacup.
that's right. And he does. Fucking does, too.
Nice.
All right. Jared, what do you got for number 2?
Stay with one of us.
Every one of us.
Flash Gordon.
That's a fucking great movie. That's one of those movies that, yeah, I mean, I think it is a perfect guilty pleasure movie because it fits the definition, right? Like, it came out and it was, in some ways, it was very much of its time, but it, for whatever reason, didn't really catch on, but it gained cult status.
Yep.
And if you're of the right generation, which we are, that movie just fucking clicks just perfectly. I mean, everything from because it was still very much a holdover from, the 70s era and like movies like Barbarella and crazy shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
But, it came out in 1980. And so there was a lot of 80s aspects to it. Certainly with the Queen soundtrack, that propelled it in a lot of ways and made it kind of a cultural phenomenon and a cult classic.
Great movies had Queen soundtracks.
Yeah, I know. I mean, if you could do a soundtrack, your movie would be awesome.
Would Highlander even be Highlander without Queen?
No. So, yeah, no, but Flash Gordon is fucking great. Yeah. And again, it is this weird, like it's very 70s yet also very 80s at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Because of when it came out. And yeah, it's a great movie. All right, Duke, what do you got for number 2?
You're not gonna like this. Escape from LA.
Why wouldn't I like that? That's a phenomenal movie.
Well, it's my guilty pleasure because I know it didn't do well at the box office, although it is one of my favorite, like, Sunday afternoon, Saturday night watches, and I'm sad that it didn't receive what it should have, and I think it stopped us from getting more, but I will always enjoy watching it. So.
I still have a little bit of space in my heart hoping that one day we'll get an Old Man Snake movie of him having to, like, escape from the moon or something. I don't know. But I still have, as long as Kurt Russell is alive, I will still hold out some sliver of hope that we will get another escape movie.
And I want to see return to the Jack Burton too.
Yeah, that would be cool. But no, I totally agree with that. Yeah, it is a guilty pleasure movie because it didn't do well. Yet, I love that movie. So,
oh yeah.
No, it's perfect, yeah.
Oh, and Big Trouble in Little China had Kim Cattrall in that too.
Yeah. All right, Leo, what do you got for number 2?
Number 2, I have 2 movies tied for number 2.
That's cheating.
No, wait. No, here's why I did it, though. It's within the same franchise.
Okay.
Mortal Kombat 1 and the last Mortal Kombat movie.
Oh, the last Mortal Kombat movie was a piece of shit.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I love it. See, right. That's why it's number 2 on my list.
The main character is not even a game character. They made it up for the movie.
I know. I was confused too when it first came out, but I still.
Some people thought that was Johnny Cage, but I was
Cole.
All right. Well, I obviously agree with the first one from '96, but
You had Christopher Lambert playing a Japanese Thundercop.
yeah.
Well, the original Raiden, was he supposed to be Japanese? I don't remember. I mean, yeah, he had the like the rice hat, but I don't remember if they specifically made him to be Japanese. Something like that.
Specifically?
Yeah,
I don't know if he was supposed to be Japanese or not, but it still felt kind of wrong having him play that character.
Right.
But,
Even-
I mean,
but because it was
you know,
Christopher Lambert, I didn't give a shit. I was like, yeah, hell yeah, make him rate.
That absolutely. When he didn't come back for the second one, it's like fuck this movie.
Yeah, yeah. They got budget Kyle Reese to play the second one.
Referee.
All right, Sith, what do you got for number 2?
For number 2, I have Spy Kids 3. It is a fever dream, wild ride of a movie.
Is that the one
I
with
love-
Sylvester Stallone in it?
Yes, Sylvester Stallone plays 3 different characters in the same movie.
I've seen all these movies because my kids watch them.
Elijah Wood's in it.
I don't really remember them that much.
I don't remember that third one much.
Well, it's the original
Gr-
Ant-Man and the Wasp movie.
It is. It's the exact same movie as Ant-Man and the Wasp. Quantumania.
Did I have George Lopez in that one?
Well, yeah, wasn't he in all of them?
Yes.
Like their uncle.
Yes.
Or something.
No, George Lopez was in Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Yeah, Shark Boy and Lava Girl is the one that's Ant-Man and Wasp.
Yeah, Shark Boy and Lava Girl's the Ant-Man and Wasp one you're thinking of.
Spy Kids 3 is the one with Machete. Machete plays the uncle in Spy Kids.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But the grandpa ends up like getting a power up and a power suit and really spends the rest of the movie chasing a butterfly like Frankenstein's monster.
Oh yeah, I remember those names. Yeah,
Which was Ricardo Montalban, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I have vague memories of the movie, but like I'm probably mixing up all 3 of them because, like I said, I watched them with my kids.
Well, the first 2 are pretty well liked overall, especially the second one. The second one's got Steve Buscemi playing mad scientist, and it's pretty good. It's actually like a good movie by itself. But the third one is a serious step down. But it's an entire fever dream of a movie.
Well, it's because they threw in the 3D stuff and said, "Oh, let's make a story with it." After that was the problem.
Yeah.
When you're trying to push
was-
a 3D movie, you're not going to get much of a story out of it. So, and my kids like it too. I watched it not too long ago with them. So,
All right, JB, what do you got for number 2?
my number 2, Fight Club.
Fuck you and your phone. How is that a guilty pleasure movie?
Wait, what? Right.
At the
Right,
time,
Fight
it was
Club.
not well criticized at the time until
You
it
can't
went
go
to
by
VHS.
critics.
Yeah, it
Critics
didn't do
never
well
liked
at
it.
the time, but when it hit to VHS, that's when it really started becoming a national treasure. I'm going by that. I think that's what everybody mostly did, is going by that. I want to put Fight Club on there.
Fight Club has basically, since it premiered, been loved by everyone. Except maybe Siskel and Ebert or some shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, isn't the whole thing in Fight Club now? It's like the allegory of being gay or something.
No. Well, anyway.
No, well, number 1, number 2 ain't bad movies. They're ones that I watch on repeat a lot, and Fight Club is one I watch a lot. So that's why I made it number 2.
All right.
It's a bad list.
My number 2 is one of the greatest movies of all time. I don't care how many people hate this movie and say it's a bad movie. I don't care. You're all wrong, and you can all suck my D. Because Battleship is one of the greatest fucking movies ever. Ever. It is one of the most entertaining movies of all time. I watch this movie like 3 or 4 times a year. Sometimes I love to just fucking like put on just like there's like a couple of scenes. I love the scene when he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna die. You're gonna die. We're all gonna die, but not today. Drop some lead on this motherfucker!" And they just like, dude, I can watch this movie so many goddamn times over and over and over and over again without fail. I remember when this movie came out, I took my 2 oldest kids to the movies to see it because my wife went out of town with her family. They went up to San Antonio because my niece was graduating from college and they were going for the graduation ceremony. And I stayed with my 2 oldest kids and we went and saw fucking Battleship that weekend. And it was one of the most glorious times I've ever had at a fucking movie theater. It was fucking great. And I don't give a shit what anybody else says about this movie. I fucking love this movie.
The aliens, like the weapons, look like the little pieces in Battleship game.
Uh-huh.
Those missiles they launch.
Like when the vets took care of business.
The power slide of freaking Battleship.
Yeah. You know shit's going down when the AC/DC kicks in. I love this movie. Anyway, all right, that's my number 2. All right, number 1, Jared. What do you got for us for number 1?
My guilty pleasure is the Evil Dead trilogy.
The Evil Dead trilogy. I like I said, because I put that as an honorable mention because I couldn't get myself to put it as a guilty pleasure. I mean,
and if you want to argue about there are 3 different movies, there is a fan edit where somebody cut all 3 movies into one movie,
which I have seen. I have seen that. Did you? I think you were the one that sent that to me.
Yep.
Yeah, me and my wife watched that like the next day after you sent that to me, and it's glorious.
Yeah.
But it most of the cuts are from the first and second one.
Mm-hmm.
Army of Darkness is mostly complete. It's got a little bit of editing to it, but it basically cuts the 3 movies into what, 3.5 hours, give or take.
Like that.
And it's fucking glorious. Yeah.
I have a question for you about the 3rd one.
Yes.
Do you like the theatrical ending more, or the director's cut ending more?
Both have their merits. In general, I like the theatrical cut more. I like that he ended up back in his own time and fucking continued to fight demons.
Yeah. Well, without having a theatrical ending too, you can't have the TV series.
Right. The director's cut ending was really good if there were going to be more movies. Like if it was going to be now he's fighting Deadites in a post-apocalyptic world, if that would have been Army of Darkness 2.
No.
You know what I mean? If there would have been more to continue that ending, that would have been the better ending, right?
Yep.
But you know, the movie stopped there, and because they did, I think the theatrical cut makes way more sense for the movie.
That's one of the things that sucks so bad that they canceled the series.
Oh, I know, because they got to the same point.
They were going to do the post-apocalyptic, like, future.
Yep, they got to the same point that the director's cut ends at, and then it gets canceled. Like,
and he gets an upgrade. He gets like more advanced robotic hands.
Yep.
And
Yep.
Fuck y'all for cancel that show.
Yep. Yeah, I did.
I hope what he said's true, and we'll at least get an animated series to like finish out and do that 3rd season.
I would be totally down for a good animated series.
Because they're all getting older too, but the voice acting would be a little better anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be great, man. All right, Duke. Number 1.
Another hard one.
Duke.
And he fell asleep. Look at that. Duke fell asleep.
Duke.
All right.
Momo's behind you.
Hey, you're number 1.
On the aliens got him.
Should I do my honorable mentions first, or do it afterwards?
Whatever you want to do.
All right. I do my honorable mentions. I say have Trancers.
Yeah.
Dude, I love the Transfer series.
Cheesy, but one of the best. If you don't even watch the movie, just listen to the soundtrack. The soundtrack is so good.
Yeah.
But didn't watch the movie.
First thing I ever saw Helen Hunt in
It
was Trancers.
Yeah. And I say Guyver.
Yep.
Cheesy,
Guyver.
but I love it.
The first one, anyway. The second one's kind of...
Yeah.
Well, that would be such a great franchise to bring back to a new live-action movie of.
Oh, definitely. And I say a lot of people hate this movie. Death Note. I still love it, even though it was.
Which Death Note are we talking about here?
The Netflix one?
Netflix one, yeah.
I liked that, but I also never watched the anime, so I don't know. I know a lot of people that watched the anime that hated the Netflix.
Yeah. I never watched anime either, but yeah.
I didn't watch. Okay, that should let you know. I didn't never even watch that live action one. So that should let you know for us fans. But I heard and seen some wild stuff on that one, that live action one.
And I say, Once Bitten with Jim Carrey.
Oh, Jim Carrey?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
Yeah, a lot of people thought it was cheesy, but I still loved it. Solo, Star Wars. I liked the movie. I thought it was a good movie.
I'm confused.
A lot of
What's
people
your number
didn't
one?
No, I'm doing the honorable mentions.
Okay.
Yeah,
You got 10 honorable mentions.
yeah, I got
He's doing like me. He's getting his honorable mentions out.
Yeah,
Honorable mentions.
but here's the number one honorable mention that everybody said is cheesy, but it's still one of the best movies ever made. Period. Point blank. Hackers.
That's an honorable mention, or that's your number
Yeah,
one?
no, that's the honorable mention. That's my number one honorable mention.
If somebody says that's a guilty pleasure movie, they can go fuck themselves.
I've heard it. I heard people say that.
That's a
It's a cheesy
phenomenal
movie.
Plus, it's got some nice titties in it, too.
Yeah.
I gotta mention, don't poke the bear's comment. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. That's a good one.
Yep.
I didn't like it.
Yeah. That's a good one.
It had potential, but they kind of fucked up on some things. And there would have been more sequels.
And the fact that Sean Connery turned down Gandalf to play that movie.
Yeah.
Did anybody like Spawn?
Oh, I love
It
Spawn,
was
dude.
super cheesy to me.
I like
I know
Spawn.
some people.
Yeah,
that
I love Spawn.
I love Spawn.
That's in my guilty pleasures list.
By the way, are we going to get to your number one?
Yeah, I'm gonna do it right now. Right, I had a lot of honorable mentions that couldn't fit the list, so
All right.
I still love it. But my number one, Big Trouble in Little China.
Big Trouble in Little China. If Duke was here, he'd be very proud of you for that.
I can't even put that on my, like I say, it's a bad movie at all.
Yeah.
It's not a bad, it's a phenomenal movie.
But a
Yeah.
lot of people said it was cheesy, and I
No,
agree
I've
it
heard it.
is. But it's one of the greatest movies ever made. Still.
It's one of those ones, too, that got cult status after it came out.
Yeah.
It totally fits the bill for it, but
All right. Sith, what do you got for number one?
Okay, I only have one honorable mention, and that's Fifth Element. I know it did not do well when it released, but it's the second best sci-fi movie of all time, behind Starship Troopers.
It is phenomenal. Yes, I agree.
Yeah,
My number one is the third best sci-fi movie of all time, Moonfall.
Oh my
Moonfall
I
is
agree.
the absolute best
I agree.
sci-fi apocalypse movie.
I have seen that movie twice, and I didn't think to put it on this list, but I will tell you, like, it's up there with like Armageddon as like one of these disaster movies that a lot of people hate, but that it is a really fun movie.
That
This
should've made my list.
it is so much fun. I could sit down and watch Moonfall at literally any moment and be totally happy.
I watch it for Holly Berry. So
All right, JB, what do you got for number one?
Ooh, my number one. We talked about it earlier. Face Off. I had to make it number one. It is a movie I have watched.
Oh, damn, we lost him.
Did you pull out a McFarlane toy and I didn't see it?
I'm sorry.
Man. Hey, I put it on number one does not mean it's a bad movie. It's one of the greatest, okay? Guilty Pleasure is something that I watch while other people I know say it's bad, okay? And I love Face Off. I'm like everybody else here. We all agree Face Off is one of the greatest movies ever made.
yeah.
And there will never be
all of
another
them
one
agree.
made.
I hate the movie.
By the way, is Duke back yet?
Dude.
No.
I might get kicked out for this. I think Face Off is an awful movie.
How dare you?
How dare you, sir?
I didn't hear that. I
Dare
could not-
you?
I couldn't hear that. But Leo, let me ask you this.
Yes.
I want to ask you a question before we get to my number one. If I were to send you flowers, where would I? No, let me rephrase it. If I were to let you suck my tongue, Would you be grateful?
I think I know where you're going with this.
You know, I could eat a peach for hours. You know what I mean?
I think I know where
You
you're
get what
going.
I'm saying there.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying.
I think it should have made my list too, but okay.
You get what I'm saying. And I love the point when he's like, what do you want? Take one goddamn guess. Yes, that's right. Fuck you, JB, for stealing my thunder. My number one is Face Off. You fuck twat.
Okay. We're in agreement then. that it's
Greatest
number
fucking
one.
movie of all time. Not guilty pleasure. Of all time. It is literally my favorite movie ever.
Oh no, wait, it is on my list.
Oh, it is because it's my number one. So I'm with you.
Yeah, it's my number 4. Yeah.
I'm saying it is my actual favorite movie ever.
Oh, it's my favorite.
Of any
I would
genre I don't care, like it is my number one favorite movie of all time, of any genre, of any era, of anything. Face Off is my absolute favorite movie. Hands down, I think it's the greatest movie ever.
We're on that same boat.
I quote that movie to my wife all the time just to piss her off. My favorite line to quote to my wife is when John Travolta, of course, he's Castor Troy, goes to the hospital to check up on his wife. And she's giving some bullshit story to him. And he turns around and walks off. And I say this to my wife all the time. Lies, deceit. It's almost like this is a real marriage. My wife hates it when I fucking say that. I quote this movie to her all the fucking time. This is my favorite movie of all time. Hands down. I understand a lot of people don't like it. It's fine. That's why I put it on this list. But there is no better movie for me. I have watched this movie more than any other movie in my life. I can quote every fucking line from this movie. I can fucking map out every scene in my head for this movie. There is no other movie that I enjoy more than Face Off.
You and me both. I can't believe Jared don't like it though.
I know, right?
Jared's wrong.
Yeah.
That's what's going on here.
It's an awful movie.
See, Jared liked it until he went to the hospital and they swapped his face with someone else's. We don't have the real Jared anymore.
It's like looking in a mirror, only not.
See
Anyway.
anything you like?
Well, I wish that Duke was here so we could actually get his number one, but he left. I'm guessing he fell asleep, although I don't hear snoring.
It's the Lord of the Rings movie he loves.
Yeah, the War of Rohirrim. Where the fuck that name is?
Rohirrim?
Rohirrim. Sure, I'll go with that. That sounds right.
Since Duke's not here, I can confess I like that movie.
Do you know what else I'm thinking that should have made my list? Little Shop of Horror.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, great movie. Still kind of cheesy to me, but great.
You know what, Jared?
Yeah?
You're not having any fun. Why don't you join us? Try Terrorism for Hire. We'll blow some shit up. It's more fun.
I think that's your quote from the movie.
Yes.
Yes.
Fucking love this movie, man. Greatest movie of all time.
It's gonna get a little schmoggy.
Right, isn't the same movie where he does the thing to like his daughter's face, where he just like rubs it?
Oh, where he does the thing.
Yeah.
He's like, I want to take his face.
Do you do that to your daughter?
That's how she knows it's him.
Yeah.
He's fucking looking like Castor. Yeah.
I thought you would do that with your daughter.
I want to take his face off.
He said the line.
All right. Well, I don't know where Duke went, ladies and gentlemen, so I don't know what happened there, and I don't know what his number one is.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
We're gonna get that to Duke. Lord of the Rings.
It's
But we're gonna assume it's that new Lord of the Rings animated movie.
He
Is
loves
his
it so
favorite
much.
guilty pleasure movie because he loves it so much.
Man,
But,
that sounds good.
Lord of the Wings. The fried chicken wings.
But it is about time to wind this chat down. We've been going for 2 hours. My wife is already texting me. We're supposed to watch Den of Thieves tonight so that we can get ready to watch Den of Thieves 2 tomorrow. We're going to go to the movies to see that. So, I told her we would watch the first one again because we haven't watched it since, I don't know, whenever it came out, like 3 or 4 years ago or whatever. So we're going to watch Den of Thieves tonight so that we can watch the sequel tomorrow. But that is going to pretty much do it for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Hope to see you guys back here on Monday. Well, on Monday. We'll be back on the NEA channel for the G&G podcast on Monday for those of you on the Geek Fusion channel. I know I'm behind. I haven't posted a video in 2 weeks, so sorry. Been busy.
One quick question on that first. So the thing on Monday, are we like watching it as it goes on?
Oh, I mean, probably not. We'll see if there's any like bullet point shit that needs to be addressed, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll wing it. We'll play it by ear. So, but that's going to do it for today, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you guys have a great fucking weekend. We will see you guys next time. As always, deuces, yo, shout out P and Fridge, all that good shit, and everybody on both channels. Enjoy the rest of your fucking weekend, and we'll see you guys later. Take it easy.